Hello, everyone, and welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Network. This is our YouTube channel live stream with Greg Ambrosius. I'm your host, and with Shawn Childs, NFBC Hall of Famer, who's stepping into the football field right now. Shawn, we did this last week. Unique live stream, Gladiator Championship, 12 teams, 14 rounds. You named it. It's best team contest, isn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't know the rules that, two guys on the same bye week wasn't going to be a problem. But visually, I don't want two quarterbacks in a bye week because in week 12 I was going to pick. I don't want 2 zeros late in the year. So, and then especially if an injury. So I plan on winning it. I don't want zeros late in the year. So, but no, I get it. They all score and stuff like that. I just, some part of it, you just don't want the same players on a bye week for some reason. And more balance. I'm looking for a more balanced scoring during the year.
There you go. So we're going to have some fun. You had the 6th pick last week. You have the 7th pick this week. Any change in strategy here? You started with quarterback, then you waited on your second quarterback. What's the strategy tonight?
Nice. I was just looking at, some of the players. I mean, I'm a little further along on the research, and, I like you talked offline, I thought Mahomes, maybe I wasn't giving him enough credit. I like his weapons and stuff like that. Maybe I should be more interested. If I was, I'd have to probably take him in the first round. I'm looking at your ADP. Yep. ADP's in like a draft board form, so he's like an early second rounder. So do I need to push him up, or where do I want to go at quarterback? And so it gets kind of sketchy. It looks like in the second round for quarterback, even in third. In either the position players, I would love to have Bowers as kind of an advantage at the position. I think there was only 7 wide receivers that outscored him last year. So, what's the, you wait till Warren, the rookie, or Freiermuth, and when you're going to score 130, 140 points. And so you gain a 100-point advantage or more possibly by taking, Bowers a lot earlier. And what's the difference in, Pittman to Brian Thomas if Pittman rebounds or something like that. So all those kind of drop downs, obviously the quarterbacks from the early ones, in your scoring, a couple of those guys scored 500 points,
right? And
that's massive. But, can you find somebody that improves this year? Because every year there's like 2 or 3 quarterbacks that end up being top 12 options. But who are they? And can you get them on your team, even if you identify them?
Yeah, this is unique because it is a 2-quarterback league. You have to start 2 quarterbacks, but only 24 quarterbacks are going to be drafted. So 8 of them go undrafted. So it's a little different than super flex where you get 3 quarterbacks or 4 quarterbacks and you get the best ball. All 14 of your guys score every single week for 17 weeks. Now, Shawn, you did the math on the quarterbacks, and I agree. You can wait on that second quarterback, but he might get 250, 280 points, and somebody else's QB2 gets 450 points, and you're out 200 points on that one. How big of a factor is that second quarterback in getting that one real stud first quarterback?
Yeah, I think it is really, really important, especially with you figure if you get, a foundation quarterback that's kind of proven that has a job and stayed healthy, that most likely they're going to be there, for the whole season. And there's you take some rookie quarterbacks, or you wait too long, you invite, maybe lose some playing time, lose a job and stuff like that. I mean, there's got to be some of them that don't end up staying in the starting lineup. So it's kind of interesting that way. But the advantage of quarterback is real. And how many times every year, how many running backs get, hurt. And if you're drafting a running back early and they get hurt, and even the second running backs, like you get all excited about these running backs and they score 13 points a week. You're like, what am I doing? I might as well cheated the running back positions and just take the good wideouts, because you get a little more explosive games out of them. But in a best team draft, I mean, it's all going to average out over time. So I don't know. So we're doing this on the fly. I haven't really.
We're doing it on the fly again. Now, last week we had 5 quarterbacks taken in the first 8 picks. So we'll see what happens here again today. But 4 flex positions, 1 super flex position, and only 2 running backs. So you could go the whole draft with just 2 running backs. You could go with just 1 tight end. There's no reason to take 2 tight ends if the second tight end's only going to get you 180 points, let's say, right, or 160 points. So a lot of cool strategies here with the 4 flex positions, but with 1 super flex position, everybody's taking 2 quarterbacks. That's for sure. So the countdown is here. Team 1, you are on the clock. This is a $50 entry fee. That's it. $7,500 grand prize. We pay the top 3 in each league, $200, so 4x your money, $100 for second, and $50 for third place. So top 3 we pay in each league, and again, $7,500 grand prize. We pay the top 25 overall. We're shooting for 175 teams, and there you go. Jamar Chase goes first, and Josh Allen goes second. So let's see what we have here. Shawn has the 7th pick. We got Harry Zerler with us. He has the 11th pick. We'll bring Harry in after he makes his first 2 picks here. Jay Wimmers, he is team 5, is right there. Welcome back again, Jay. Oh, no, you weren't here last week. That's right. You're in the chat, but you didn't draft. There we go. Lamar Jackson goes to team 3. So going to have some fun tonight watching this one. But again, the first quarterback is real interesting in this format. You know, we don't have anything like this in the NFFC. We do have a super flex private league. That's about the only comparison. There's Joe Burrow. Shawn, he went early last week, didn't he?
Yeah, I didn't get him. I wanted Burrow. I've been a big fan of him
last week.
Yeah, he was awesome last year.
Right.
I said to team number 6, who is unidentified here, that draft that, you know, the person that maybe wins this is take some risk at, you know, the third running back that doesn't normally get drafted in the first 14 rounds.
Yeah.
Impact player. I think he was listening to me now.
I think so. I know you talked about possibly taking Jefferson with your first pick. What you doing here now? How about a running quarterback?
Man,
first running back maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I you know what?
Just threw you a curveball. You wanted Jefferson. I know you did.
I'm going to go off the board and the discussion we had earlier. Let's go. Let's go, Mahomes. He's going to be healthy. They're all not going to get suspended. They're going to, you know, do its stuff. You know, Kelsey's 8.5 yards per catch were because he had no spacing in the secondary. He That's at least gets up to 9.2 this year. He still gets 80 catches. No, maybe he's like a Tony Gonzalez, but you know, I don't know. So that means I got to, you know, double down on Rice or something and pile him in there. Ride Kansas City. You're
going to ride Kansas City. Mahomes' ADP in this format is 18. Might have been there on the way back. Probably not the way the quarterbacks are going off the board. You talked about Hurts last week. You thought you might take Hurts. Any consideration there ahead of Mahomes, or you're going to try this Kansas City stack out tonight?
Well, I just finished their research yesterday, and I'm working on the Raiders, so they're fresh in my mind. So I figured that, you know, might as well see how it gets executed. You know, in a few weeks, like when you do these drafts, and if the end of July, there's a lot more information, and these players are going to have a lot more movement and kind of change. So, and I'm sure I'll do another one and have another chance to kind of pair some guys together. So we'll see what. Look at Barkley.
I know it.
This guy at Team 11, he's like, Yahoo! I'm going to take Barkley, and I'm going to take a quarterback. What do you think?
I like the back end of this right now with all these quarterbacks going. You're absolutely right. Gibbs was the first running back to Team 8. Bijan to Team 10. Harry's up right now, Team 11.
You always want that player like CeeDee Lamb, like a guy coming off a, you know, a great year, but, you know, down year, and you want him to slide into like the
Harry threw a curveball right there.
Oh, Knicks, huh? Looks like he got nicked up on the first pick, didn't he? No, nothing.
Team 12. We're going to put Harry on after he makes the second pick here. All right, so Barkley's still available out there. I'm just looking at our ADPs. Barkley's ADP is 7 in the Gladiator Championship. It's Chase number 1, Josh Allen 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Bijan 4, Joe Burrow 5, Jane Daniels 6, and then Barkley at 7.
Yeah, that's a
Team 12.
It's interesting with that 3RR because, I mean, it kind of changes the dynamics a little bit, you know?
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there goes Barkley to Team 12. He gets another one here, and you're right, with third round reversal, we go 12-1 right now, and then we go back 12-1 in round 3. Why do we do it? I don't know if you saw that, Shawn, on Twitter today, but Matthew Breeden asked why we don't do 3RR in baseball. You think we need to do 3RR in baseball?
No.
I don't either.
It's the thing with baseball is there's so many positions and the values and stuff like that, where I think that even though like the first, you know, a couple of players have had injuries and stuff like that and not been like the Tomlinson years,
right?
The turns on like the turns are favorable to the early positions on a straight draft on 2, 3, 4, 5, and even 6, 7 before they drop up. So you kind of offsetting some of that balance and shifting it back And at the same time, by having the 3 RR, you got more teams that are willing to move back to the lineup to take advantage of the 3rd round picks.
Right.
So I think you end up with more teams getting their draft picks that are happy. Where a straight draft, you're like, oh, I got pick 6, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got pick 6 or 7, you get the worst picks every round, and it is when the 3 RR, but you have the ability to move out of that sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
You know. So I definitely think it's more of an advantage.
All right, we're going to add Harry Zerler has team 11. He started out with Bo Nix and Baker Mayfield. Harry, welcome to the show, and tell us about your picks there, the strategy.
Well, I'm glad to be here. You guys are doing a great job. It's been fun. I'm looking at quarterbacks in the first round. They obviously the picks that I would have liked to have taken were long gone, and they're a distant memory. So I wish them well. But going forward, we'll just have to build around a Tampa team and a Denver team. So I'm looking at the 2 of them in the Super Bowl.
There you go. All right. I'll tell you what, I said this on our podcast yesterday. I think what Denver's doing right now is very good. I like the J.K. Dobbins signing as well. Their defense is much improved. I like what they're doing for sure. So I'm not against your thoughts there.
Well, I'm just trying to look for the best options after the quarterbacks were already drafted. So we'll just look forward and hope for a real big positive year, and we'll hope for no snow in Denver and warm sunny days in Tampa.
I think you can get a little bit of both, definitely. All right, you're the first one to go quarterback. Team 9 took Puka Nacua along with Jalen Hurts. Team 12, very interesting. Got good value with Saquon Barkley. CeeDee Lamb, also good value. Now let's see what he does for quarterbacks, because that is a big part of here. Ashton Genty goes to Team 7. Patrick Mahomes, that's you, Shawnee. There you go. Talk about Genty. I know you thought a lot of him.
No, I just talked about you offline a little bit, that could he outscore Barkley, because, Barkley doesn't get a lot of catches. The quarterback's going to steal running touchdowns. He comes off a great season. He's a great running back. And, you bring in a rookie quarterback a running back that's going to be a high volume guy. I expect a few more catches, but, will he get enough touchdowns to kind of close that gap? And St. Brown making it to that round is like really kind of a no-brainer in normal formats.
Yeah.
But, he's got a little nick, cleanup surgery, probably fine. And I was like, but, so I figured I'd help Team 6, with a double wide receiver thing. So I really thought about it, but, I know that I'm going to wait at running back position and I kind of shift back to wide receivers. So I gambled. I'm doing the Raiders right now. So, and I'm, like I said, I'm just, thinking about it. And, I'm not sure when the real events, because he's most likely not a regular format, going to be a first rounder, right, because of, so I would still think I would take St. Brown over him in a normal draft.
Yeah. I
think the Barkley thing is kind of close. But we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Interesting there for sure. Genty's going anywhere from 6 to 9 in our online championship right now. So he's been landing at 7 and 8. He's certainly not going in the second round in a regular draft, that's for sure. Team 6, very interesting. Jefferson and St. Brown laid off on the quarterbacks. Again, you can do that in this format. You don't have to take the quarterbacks, but the quarterbacks can score 500, 400 plus points. Your top wide receivers are in the 300s. So very interesting there. We'll see how he fills out his roster there. Nobody else went 2 quarterbacks at the start here. We still have Team 2, who's got Josh Allen. We'll see if he does, or if Harry's the only one that started out quarterback. I don't remember last week if any teams did or not, but interest. Shawn, how many running backs do you think you will take in this format tonight?
I'm going to stick to what I said last time, most likely 3. I don't know if I'll end up with 2 in the same backfield like last week. I definitely thought that when I took Henderson for the Patriots, I liked somebody better that I didn't take, and I would most likely take him in front here. And if I wasn't have my opponent right here ready to snipe him as soon as I bring out the name, I might mention him out. If he was out in the public and I didn't see him, I would talk about it. But because he's right here, he might love that guy, So,
all right.
So
go back to Team 12 for third round here. So we'll see how this goes. Go ahead.
Yes. You talking to me or? Oh, yeah. So, Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to take 3 running backs. I'm going to just try to get a lot of wide receivers, and we'll see what happens with the tight end position. There's always kind of a drop off where you think that the tight ends are favorable, where the wide receivers look similar. So we'll see what happens there.
All right, like Harry said, he's going to go on Denver and Tampa, and Bucky Irving is a nice pick there. Really looked good last year, and has great upside for this year as well. Harry, what do you think? That was the plan all along?
Oh, I like Bucky a lot.
Yeah.
I like the Bucks, a lot of offense. So hope they score a lot this year, and just stay healthy in this type of format.
Yeah. Are you surprised nobody else went quarterback like you did to start out?
A little, but I mean, they got quality running backs and wide receivers. So they produce Chase at number 1, very deserving pick there. I think that he's going to really be a big producer. I wish I would have gotten Burrows to throw to him, but I didn't. And so maybe next year I'll get a little higher rank.
Yeah, there you go. Stacking is pretty interesting. Shawn, do you think stacking is important in this format or not? Because stacking works in the championship round, right? Week 17, you need a big one. You got a quarterback, wide receiver. Boy, they both go off. You win $250,000. What about this format, though?
I think that it is, because there's certain seasons that, like last year, Tampa Bay scored a ton of points, and if you stacked that offense, you would have got a lot of points, and they were probably a lot of values. Baker Mayfield was pretty much free last year, and then Bucky Irving was later. So if you're getting the right offense that scores a lot, it is helpful, and you like pairing them with them. To 2 players together. Man, this is just
all right. Here's your turn right now. Stack them up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're there right now. So I don't know. I'm gonna go against the grain and double running back, and I'm gonna go. That's it.
That's it. Now you're gonna lay off for a while, right?
Oh, I might not take any more. We'll see.
Might not take any more.
We'll see. I like AJ Brown. He can score and stuff like that. I didn't like the last year that Hurts took it down a lot. You wouldn't hold on to it, just take the yards and move the chains and stuff like that. And they seem like they're more of a running team now with Barkley there. So I just kind of passed on him. But Ken Garrett Wilson, they're talking setting records and stuff like that. And the Jigmas, to me, he's a possession guy coming off a good year. And Sam Darnold's last year was more of a guy that kind of got the ball downfield, bigger plays, but somebody's got to catch the ball there, and he's got a great opportunity. So I don't know. It was that range. Browns kind of stood out, but I just went against the grain. I'll take 2 running backs, and I'll see what happens here.
All right, we're bringing in another one competitor tonight, Steve D'Angelo. How you doing, Steve? You've got the 2nd pick. Hope you don't mind me saying that, but let's talk about yours right now. So yeah, a lot of fun, isn't this?
Yeah, man, very cool. This is my 2nd one. What's up, guys? Glad to be with you all tonight. My daughter's screaming outside. My wife just texted me, "Can I put my daughter to bed?" And I said, "No, I just hopped on a show, so she's gonna have to do it." But yeah, I took Josh Allen and Nico there. The last one I did last week, I took McBride with my 2nd pick, so I wanted to get a little bit different.
Yep.
I was even thinking about maybe taking Lamar instead of Allen, but I'm gonna probably do a few more of these, so I got time. And obviously Josh Allen is awesome, especially in this format with 2 quarterbacks.
Absolutely. All right, you've got a pick now in round 3, and we'll let you get one in round 4, and then we'll talk about your strategies there. I know you play a lot of different formats. This is unique, right? This is the first year we've ever done this thing. Kind of unique. What do you think of this format here, where you just draft and be done, but it's basically team best ball is what it is?
Yeah, I like it. It's like best ball, so you could just draft. You don't have to worry about trading. You don't have to worry about pickups. But the only thing different than best ball is you don't get any backups, which I was kind of confused on that in the first week. Last week, I was like, I got to get a backup tight end in case my tight end gets hurt. And then somebody pointed out, said, it doesn't matter. They're going to get hurt, and then that's it. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. So, anything where you could just, set it and forget it, especially with the amount of leagues I do, I love it. So I think this is great, man. I really am a fan of this. And I know you guys did it in the baseball.
Yeah, it's really popular in baseball. And this is the first year we're trying this in football. So, I think we'll fill it up by August, and then we'll go from there. All right, you took Chase Brown. You've got There you go. You got your second running back. So what are your thoughts on the running back in this format? Because you only need 2. How many do you plan on taking tonight?
Last time I took 4.
Okay.
This time maybe 3, probably 3. We'll see. I'm really just going to take the best player on the board.
Right.
So whatever I feel like is going to maximize me the most points. But yeah, Chase Brown, they didn't really bring anybody back. They drafted Taj Brooks in the 6th round. They still got Samaje Perine, so he should still be the guy. Obviously that's an electric offense. And then Breece Hall. A couple of years ago, this guy was looking like, one of the best backs in the league. Last year, really, really weird year, but I think Fields is going to help him a lot. So I like a resurgence there.
Yeah, I mean, a guy going in the 1st round, 2nd round last year, of course, you get him in the 4th right now. So interesting for sure. I got to ask you one last one here. You need guys to stay healthy, right? No doubt you want the best production, but what are you looking at? Like a McCaffrey, would you take him with the injury history that he has, or do you get scared away from that? Talk about what you're looking at from an injury history. Heck, anybody can get hurt in the NFL, right? So, but what do you look at?
Yeah, you never know. And it's just like in best ball, you want your guys to stay in your lineup, throughout the whole year to maximize the most points. So yeah, like last time I took Kenneth Walker, and I was a little hesitant about that because the guy never stays healthy.
Yep.
Hoping, finally he can kind of stay healthy. Maybe he's a little bit more of a veteran. He can kind of understand, his body a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, CMC for where he's going, last year, pretty much the consensus number 1 overall.
Oh yeah.
But then 2 years ago, Jefferson was a consensus and he got hurt too. So yeah, you're right. You never know. Right. But now it's a much better value for CMC at the end of drafts. And, if you get him at the end of the drafts or early 2nd, I mean, it could win you the league. So it's, sometimes you got to just, judge the reward versus the risk and make a decision. So I don't have a problem. But like you said, in this format, you want to try to get as many healthy guys as possible. So maybe you don't want to take that risk. So
yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. All right, Shawn, somebody sniped Rashee Rice right in front of you. There goes your Chiefs stack that you were thinking about. Do you wish you would have taken him in round 3 or not?
No, I'm all right with that because there was other receivers. I would have preferred to have somebody else there at wide receiver, and I would have probably taken him, in that range. I just didn't want to move him up. Even like Worthy, I mean, I don't have enough confidence in him to take him over some of these other receivers. When you're talking about injury risk, Higgins is obviously been a really, really good player, but he just always misses time. And I was looking, can I take DJ Moore with Williams at quarterback? He's been a good player, kind of explosive, but Higgins has the better quarterback, so I just went with a better quarterback, and hopefully he stays healthy, and we'll see what happens. If not, a $50 donation. Thank you.
That's right. I mean, you need as many games as possible for sure. So interesting. Let me see if I can get one more on stage here. Let me just see. Joe Carlton. He's the team 8 there. Joe, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you the invite to come on, man. Anytime I have an opportunity to hang out with some NFFC brass, definitely.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you. What do you think of this format? Like I said, it's very unique. It's a $50, entry fee, so everything's right?
Yeah, I mean, this is my first draft, so we'll see how it turns out. But this is definitely a fun format. I watched you guys the last time. Steve was part of that draft as well.
Yeah.
And it piqued my interest, so here I am.
All right, sounds good.
Can I ask him one question?
Of course.
Yeah, so the neighbors, the pick there is you trust the Giants offense over some of those other wide receivers, or you like the volume for him? You think he's going to progress in scoring? What do you like about him?
Well, last year he was very productive with crap at quarterback. I think Russell Wilson's not the greatest, but I think that he could increase his output a little bit this year. So yeah, I'm in on neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the St. Brown thing.
The the volume is going to be there. I mean, he would have 170 targets last year. So
yeah, I understand the question though, because St. Brown and even Brian Thomas are probably more.
I'm a little worried about St. Brown this year. Especially in this format where once the guy's injured, that's it. You can't replace him. So
right. Oh, everybody wants 17 games out of all 14 of their players. That'll add up to points. So, all right, let me just see. Did we have anybody? Nobody doubled up on quarterbacks other than Harry
Joe,
did at Team 11.
Joe, I like your start though, man. Another good start for you.
Yeah, I after all the all the top tier quarterbacks went, I said that's it. I'm not going to follow the trend. I hate to be the last of a tier, or in a position. So I decided to pivot and go for the best running back and takes 2 high volume wide receivers.
Yeah, so the 2 teams that have not taken a quarterback right now each have 4 wide receivers. That's Team 1 and Team 6. Again, wide receivers can score an awful lot of points, but at some point you're going to need quarterbacks. But hey, nothing wrong with this. So, Joe, let me ask you. You only need 2 running backs. What are your thoughts on the running backs? Because obviously wide receivers, you get a wide receiver 7 who might outscore a running back 3. How many running backs are you looking to take tonight?
I was thinking either 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know some people only do 2, like my buddy Joey Brown. He's like, he's the 0 RB master. So,
and Joey's been successful with us. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's amazing at what he does, man. I don't know. Yeah. He's unorthodox, but he nails it every time, like almost every time.
All right. You are on the clock here in round 5. What you're thinking about here? Yeah, sorry to take you away from the draft room here. We've had 4 running backs go in the last, 6 picks. It was 6, 7 picks. James Cook, interesting to see what happens there in Buffalo. Now we got you stumped. Only 3 tight ends taken so far.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if I think too much of a stack might be bad in this format. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it.
Right, you looking at Hampton?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm gonna snipe, and I'm gonna ruin the Kansas City stack, and I'm gonna take Xavier Worthy because this is best. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't. I had already determined I would take Moore over Worthy because he potentially could be the 3rd option in the passing game, but he could be a lot better. I just figured Moore is kind of a proven number 1. Hopefully Williams get better. Just looks a little bit better, in this round. Was it the 5th round than he did in the 4th? And just kind of taking the value. But I guess the Mahomes taking early, stacking that's going to be a little more difficult. Maybe if you're in a later position or something like that, or if you want to, going to have to move up Rice, and Rice has probably been moving up in a lot more. They were giving him away earlier, so I'm just going to take more and take a receiver, see what happens. But not ideal at wide receiver, but we'll see.
I think that's a good spot for Moore right there. That's very. I'm not a big Caleb guy, but that's a good spot for DJ. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, DJ Moore is a beast with the ball in his hands, yards after catch, and we know Ben Johnson is good at creating guys, giving guys space, getting the ball in their hands with space. So I like the DJ Moore pick myself. I was looking at him, but I don't know. I just feel like the way Worthy finished last year, and Rashee Rice might not be 100% right away. Travis Kelce's getting a little older, and he's my preferred target from the pass catchers in Kansas City. I also want to say that a non-stack, naked, as we would say, a naked Patrick Mahomes might be the play this year. I don't know if it's beneficial, if it benefits you much to stack with the Kansas City. He spreads it around.
Yeah, I like a naked Patrick Mahomes, don't you, Shawn?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're if you're Brittany, maybe.
Then you like a naked Patrick Mahomes, no doubt about it.
Whatever blows your hair back.
All right, Team 6 did take his first quarterback. You got Kyler Murray, so 4 wide receivers and Kyler Murray. Steve is going to be up in 2 picks. He's Team 2. Again, we haven't seen anybody double up on the quarterbacks other than our Team 11. Harry, he's still in the studio here. We might have to bring him out here because he's got the most interesting start right now. 3 running backs, 2 quarterbacks, fading those wide receivers right now. I'm sure he'll hit them hard pretty soon here, though. All right, Steve, what's the thought process?
Well, I got to go back to receiver here. I only have one. So there's a couple good guys left here. So I'm going to take one, and then we'll see if I go quarterback on the way back in round 6. But deciding between here, Zay Flowers, Jamison Williams, and Jerry Jeudy. I think I'm going to go with Jamison Williams. Maybe he really, career year last year. Maybe St. Brown's need is not right. Maybe he really takes on a big-time role, even more so with Ben Johnson gone, though. So I'll take a chance on J-Mo there. Obviously, explosive receiver.
Yeah. Dan Campbell's talking him up. What is this, his third year or fourth year?
Third year. Fourth year, I think.
Yeah, he didn't do anything that first year because of the injury. But
the injury, then he had the gambling problem in year 2, and then last year he broke out. So.
Yeah. So I could see it for sure. I don't think Team 1's going to take another wide receiver. So got your choice again. There you go. You took 2 of them.
Wow, no quarterback. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my thing is, do I want to take a quarterback now? Because there's 2 guys that I want. The rest of them I don't really have any interest in. So I probably want to snatch that now, because they'll probably be gone by the time they're going to go.
He's definitely going to be gone, Steve. I know who you're I had him targeted too. So
all right, I'm going with the Jet stack here.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
And Justin Fields. I got this helmet back here signed by Fields. So
there you go.
I'm a Jets fan. My hope has returned a little bit after years and years of misery. So
your hope has returned after Rodgers has left.
Yeah, I like Field. I didn't, Rodgers. It was just the way that the thing. He's bringing all his guys like Lazard and Hackett and Adam. It was just Cobb, right? 2 years ago. I was excited, but it's just whatever. He's older now. I didn't never liked Hackett, so I liked Fields. I didn't like the way he was treated in Chicago. I thought they basically threw him out of there and they rolled out the red carpet for Caleb. So I'm rooting for the guy, and I'm excited to have him as a quarterback.
Yeah, I think there's more upside there as well, and. I think Garrett Wilson and him, they certainly have the connection from Ohio State. That could be pretty lethal this year. We'll see, but they certainly have a connection. So I think a few quarterbacks are going to go in this round. I certainly wasn't coming back to you, but I think this is going to be the round in the next round where people are going to double up. So,
yeah, I think so too. Once there's that run, it's going to keep going.
Yeah.
Jude.
All right, so we're through 5+ rounds, a little half hour. Last week we got done with the whole thing in like 50 minutes. We're going a little bit slower today, which is fine. But these go pretty quick. Again, 14 rounds. The draft will be done. I'm only showing 11 rounds on the board right now. I'll bring it up here, show all 14 before we get done. But we'll stick around and do it all. But it's good fun, and these are easy to do. Like I said, right now we're doing 2-hour and 4-hour drafts mainly. We have some nightly ones, but they haven't been filling as fast. We'll get those going, obviously, in July and August, and we'll fill this thing up. There you go. Team 6, still without a running back, but he's got his quarterbacks. He's got Jefferson and the McCarthy hookup. Shawn, you were thinking about doing that, weren't you?
Yeah, but it's interesting because I was interested in Cleveland where Junkins, if he went later, if I went a different direction. And he moved up a lot since the last draft, and that was the mistake I made in the other one. And you were talking about Fields. I had my best DFS day with Fields at quarterback, so I kind of have a soft spot. Not that I would have taken him, but it was a pretty great day. But I'm gonna go off the board and I'm gonna hook up one of my receivers and see what happens.
You were talking about him, so there you go. There's the hookup.
No, don't love him, but you know what? We'll see what happens.
Steve, what do you think about the hookups in this format? Are they important? I know as for you, it's Fields and Hall. It's not really a quarterback wide receiver. Again, when you're in a championship round, you want those hookups because, right, Burrow and Chase go off, you win $250,000. What about this format? Do you think it's important at all or not?
Yeah, I think so too. It's it's not as big as like a underdog best ball draft where you're playing against a lot more entries, but still this is a large field tournament as well. So you want to just condense things as much as possible. If you can get that combo and it gets hot towards the end of the year, makes your team a little bit more unique.
Yep.
So I think it's, do you necessarily have to do it? I don't think so, but I think it can make things easier for you to win it all.
All right. Sounds good. All right, we'll stick with you guys for another round or two, and then I think we'll bring Harry back in here to talk about his team 11 as well. But appreciate you guys joining us. It's always a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, no, this is great.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Yeah, teams 10 and 11, and they don't like the yellow stickers.
Purdy. So we got a couple of them with 2 quarterbacks here. Of course, this is.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Greg?
Yeah, he didn't pay his bills.
They cut him off.
There we go. Did I go?
Okay.
It's probably my internet. I'm up in northern Wisconsin, so I wouldn't doubt if it's my internet.
I was going to say, is
so
that
if we
that
do
green?
leave you?
They have frozen tundra in June. Is that causing? Have you got a snowstorm going on up there right now?
No, it's got to be getting nice up there now, right?
Yeah,
No, he cut off again, I think.
you did.
The ice glaciers are melting now.
The ice glaciers. Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
That's
Team
it.
10 going all those running backs. Like it. Against the grain.
Five quarterbacks went in that round. Round 6 seems to be the spot to grab a second quarterback, or if you wait.
Yeah. Oh, you lost them all, Greg?
I think I did. There we go. I came back on. Yeah.
Oh, you had to
Everybody in the
reset.
studio.
You kicked them. You kicked the other guys out. I don't know.
Well, we probably had too many in the studio there, so let me just see if we
I
can
don't
get
know.
that.
It was kind of going, but yeah, it was interesting. Those the teams, Team 10 with no wide receivers, and Team 11 didn't until that last turn. They took a wide receiver. So
Yeah.
Usually you see a little more, wide receivers drafted, and wow, that's kind of interesting.
There's a lot of interesting builds here for sure. So let's see if I can get Harry back in here. All right, Harry, let's see if we can get you on here. It's my internet. If we go out, I'm sure it's my internet. I'm in northern Wisconsin. Harry, it's an interesting build you have here. You keep keeping multiple colors at the same time here. What do you like about this team?
Well, I like to mix it up now. I don't like to have too many players that are on the same team, but the way the draft has been going, trying to take the best available player. And this last pick, the wideout for the Carolina team, they look pretty sharp. So big guy, big size. So hopefully he produces. Their quarterback has progressed, I think, a little bit, and he could be a prime target. And hopefully hope for the best there.
There you go. All right, sounds good. I know. Did you want to get more Broncos and Bucks with your two quarterbacks, or it just hasn't worked out that way?
No, I mean, I like Chris Godwin, but he's a big injury prone person. I really do like him, but I just didn't want to take a chance on him. So going forward, Denver, that's more than enough right now.
There you go. All right. We'll get you out of the studio for right now. We thank you for joining us tonight, though. It's been a lot of fun. Welcome to the NFFC, and I'm glad you enjoyed the Gladiator Championship.
Yep. Thank you very much, and enjoy everything there at your end.
Good. Thanks much. All right, Shawnee, you're up on the clock here. What do you got?
So Sam Laporta is a pretty good value for me.
Yeah.
But I do have the Chicago quarterback. So Odunze is like an upside receiver that would be pretty attractive, and I'm gonna have to pick, and I am gonna go with 2 seconds. I was talking, but I was gonna take the Chicago wide receiver and pair Kelsey in the next round, but I know is if he made it, you know what I mean. So, but I just think the Laporta, younger guy, I like Detroit's offense, but and Kelsey's on the downside, and I'm not 100% sure of that wide receiver. But it was an interesting decision, of having, still getting a piece of Mahomes with a fading guy that's kind of a value, but he has a long resume, and compared to a wide receiver that's kind of an unknown that is really talented and should get a lot better. So what do you think of that decision? What would you have done?
I definitely would have gone Laporta. I mean, you're looking for an edge at that position, and I think you have a chance to have an edge there for sure. He certainly can be top 3, top 2 tight end, and everybody else now is going to be, a dozen points behind you. So I think Laporta in round 7 is a really good pick. Definitely. Go ahead. I
got him in the other draft, I think earlier than this one. I don't remember, but I know I drafted him.
Yeah. this is definitely the draft. The tight ends have definitely fallen more this draft than it did last week. I mean, I'm looking at Team 6, and we're talking about stacks, right? He's definitely going on the Minnesota stack there with Jefferson, McCarthy, and now Hawkinson. I think this was all by design. So kudos to Team 6. He's all in on the Vikings this year. Let me ask you, Shawn, what's your thought on J.J. McCarthy?
Oh, I was really high on J.J. McCarthy last year. I thought that he would really help that offense, his mobility, get the ball downfield. And, Darnold did really, really well and got a lot of big plays. But I think McCarthy would have been a really good fit. And, maybe, he would have outpointed Darnold because he would have run a little more last year. So I like him a lot. I didn't like that he got hurt, but I also got saved because I didn't do any early drafts, so where I think I maybe draft him once in July. But I didn't, as a third quarterback in some sort of best ball type format. So I would have got stuck with him if he got hurt a month later. So I'm kind of happy that I waited, but I usually wait to try to get through all the research before I do it. So yeah, I like McCarthy. I think that's a pretty good value. I like what Team 6 there. He's a professional drafter. We'll see. He's punting the running back position, but he probably has some eyes on some guys that he thinks that will, be helpful. A different way to go about it. So,
yeah, it's again, you look at this, he's punting running backs. You're looking at Team 1. He's punting quarterbacks right now. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe he'll take back-to-back ones here. Let me see if
maybe I'm punting wide receivers by accident. But we'll see.
All right, I'm going to bring Steve back on here. I think I had too many in the studio, but we're going to try it again here on my Northern Wisconsin internet hookup. All right, so we were just talking about Chris Godwin, right? I mean, a little injury history, but if he could stay healthy in round 7, it's worth the gamble, right?
Yeah, I thought it was worth the gamble. He was sitting there. It seemed like, he's going a little bit past his ADP. And I'm just going to hope the reward outweighs the risk there with Godwin, because obviously with Baker, it keeps getting better and better. And it's just an ankle. I know he tore his knee up a couple years ago, but he recovered from that pretty fast.
Sure did.
So I think he can recover from this, and it's just a high upside play.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as we say, everyone can get hurt, but he's in the right offense, and certainly a lot of upside there. All right.
Yeah, and then people are probably scared from the Buka pick a little bit too. So that goes into play.
I'll tell you, that did surprise me. That's who I wanted the Packers to pick. I thought that they might get him, and when they took him, I was surprised that Tampa took him. To me, it almost was a message to Godwin, but I think he just adds to the wide receiver room. I really do.
And they paid him too. So
So
how do you like Golden? The Golden pick.
I think he's going to be a good player for the Packers. I think it's exactly what they need. They obviously need speed. They didn't draft him just because he ran a 4.3 at the combine. This kid has great hands. You saw it at Texas last year. So I think he's going to fit in perfectly. And they got guys on 4th-year contracts, right? They got Dobbs, they got Watson that they got to decide what they're going to do with next year. So they need to replenish the wide receiver room. So I thought it was a good pick.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so we're talking about injuries. Here you go with Chris Olave, who has multiple concussions.
Yeah,
you're rolling the dice tonight, aren't you?
I mean, concussions. I mean, that's kind of spotty too. But they kept him out last year. He probably could have came back, but they were in the dumpster fire, so they just sat him down the rest of the year. They fired their coach, Dennis Allen, and that was it. So again, it's high upside. I'm going to do a few of these. Yep. So I mean, this team, could get the dumps some of these risks, but there's a lot of upside here. And Olave, another very talented receiver. Again, we don't know who the quarterback is, either Rattler or Tyler Shuck. Hopefully it's Shuck, because Rattler to me is not that good at all.
No, I wouldn't want Rattler in that situation at all.
Definitely not. Definitely not. I took the Cardinals defense in the OC the other night because they're playing the Saints week 1.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I mean, of the 8 quarterbacks being drafted, New Orleans will not be one of them. I can tell you that.
Right.
I mean, they will be one of the 8 not drafted, because you don't even know who's starting there right now. So interesting. But no, they have some good weapons there. They do need the quarterback play. We'll see if the Shuck is the guy or not. So, all right, Shawnee, what are you looking at this one? There's R.J. Harvey. That's an interesting one there. I think he went much further down than he did last week, obviously because of the Dobbins signing.
Yeah, I'll take Ridley again. I just think the Ward thing, I kind of think he makes sense. And, he's kind of a little proven guy. Jennings had a really good year last year, filling in and stuff like that. Pearsall, I don't know. Shakur was like a possession guy. Reed's, a guy that kind of underperformed last year. So, I mean, it's not. Yeah, I'm just looking for a guy that's kind of done it before, and not really an advantage, but hopefully just a steady guy, and we'll see what happens.
All right, your buddy Team 6 does not want to take a running back here. He takes his, well, it doesn't matter. It's his 5th wide receiver because they all score, but interesting build there. He's the only one that doesn't have 2 running backs at this point. No, Team 8's got 1. Everybody else has at least 2. So Team 6 and Team 8, they need some running backs to have a legal lineup. I can tell you that. All right.
Excuse me.
Let's see if we can get we'll get Joe on here right now. Well, bless you already. All right, Joe, you're up there. There you go. You do it just for me. When I put you on camera, you take a Packer. Good job.
That's it. I have to stack with Jordan Love, and you guys were just mentioning Jaden Reed having a down year last year. I think that he's entering year 3, and if Matthew I think a part of it was because Christian Watson wasn't there. Yeah. Green Bay seems like the type of offense that needs everybody on the field to click. So yeah. I'm hoping that with Matthew Golden being out wide opens things up for Jaden Reed underneath a little bit more, and he's more consistent and takes a little bit of a step forward.
I think part of the blame goes to LaFleur. I don't know why they stopped using him in the jet sweep type of deal. They didn't put him in motion as much. I just don't know what happened in that second half of the season with Reed, but it wasn't all him. It was definitely LaFleur not dialing up some unique stuff for him. Even he would do little screens to him and he would take the ball and run with it. He didn't even have any of that last year. Very few targets, but I think a bounce back year for sure. I think he's going to be a great value, certainly in round 8 here for sure.
I think the passing volume in general is going to go up. I had a guest on a couple of weeks ago, and he made a very good point on my show that because he thinks that because Jordan Love was banged up and hurt, that LaFleur decided to run the ball more so than pass in the second half of the season. Kind of looking out for the future, basically.
Without a doubt. And when Malik Willis came in, they did start running the ball and they were more successful with that game plan. So then when Love did come back, he was still kind of not 100%, but Jacobs was just doing the job. So I think they'll be more diverse this year. I think they're going to be more of a pass offense as well.
I'd like to see them all fully healthy, click in, like I said, everybody on the field at the same time. Definitely going to help.
You're singing the tune right to me, baby. I love it.
They're the worst team in the division now, so they're going to have to throw a lot, right?
Get out of here. I'll tell you what. Here, this is what we do when he says something like that.
Right?
Are you going to behave now, or are you going to behave or not? Or do I got to remove you?
Obviously, I've been dropped down to the number 3 position now, so I can talk less.
You can talk less. You know what? I'm going to do it again. It was so much fun. There. That was so much fun. I'll get rid of him there. We advertised you were going to be on here, so we'll put you back on. So... All right.
I'm kind of
Kelsey would have came to you if you would have waited there, Shawn.
Yeah, I know. And that would have changed the dynamics. I mean, I guess it's okay, You
don't need the stack. You got Mahomes as a quarterback you wanted. You didn't need the stack. All right, here we go. Here's one. Team 10. There we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 running backs. So he's taking a different approach than everybody else, going with more running backs, not less. Only 2 wide receivers, 5 running backs. Again, that's the beauty of this contest, though. You can do any build that you want, for sure. Speaking of running backs, you need one, Joe.
I know I do. I wanted DeAndre Swift last round, but he went, so I think I'm going to wait. I don't know if I'm worried if I wait now that it might be too late when it comes back around. I have no idea, so I got to think about this. So I got to take a look at the whole board real quick.
Team 6 is going to need some.
Yeah, I think I'm going to grab one. It might be a little bit of a reach, but I don't know why. His ADP is just juicy this year, and I get the concerns why he's down that low, but I'm in on him this year. I'm going to pick him.
Yeah.
ETN.
Interesting. Yeah, he has really dropped this year for sure. I mean, there was trade talk, of course, right? I don't think they're going to trade him though.
I don't think so either. And I think he's going to be just fine there. Actually, I think he's going to he's going to be like the if they do use a second running back, Etienne's going to play like the Rashad White role. Like he's going to be involved in the red zone around the goal line. I think he gets the high value touches.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, Shawn, are you taking Deebo Samuel? You just saw the highlight of him this week. He looked like he wasn't in the best shape, don't you think?
Yeah, he's a solid wide receiver, no matter how you look at it. But yeah, he was good a couple of years ago. He's a playmaker. Running quarterback probably fits his game more. Not ideal, but I just went with a veteran guy there. As far as Etienne, just a thing, it's weird when you watch the last couple of years and they threw so many balls to the tight end position, but Etienne's more of a playmaker. The quarterback would be in the flat and he'd throw to the tight end, throw to the tight end, throw to the tight end. Etienne would be wide open and they wouldn't throw to him. Like, why wouldn't you get it to the running back over their tight end? But hopefully change of coaching staff and help him. I was a big fan of him coming out, and he's kind of just hasn't done it, but he's young enough where he potentially could pop. So interesting player this year.
Yeah.
And there's no more tight end.
Yeah, you gone.
Right. Gone.
Yeah.
All right, we got to look at Team 6 again. He's just fading the running backs.
He's got to have two handpicked, saving it for later.
Well, he's got to have them pretty soon because he still needs a defense and a kicker, and he needs 2 running backs. So I think his hand is he knows exactly what he's got to take going forward, right? He's got to take 2 running backs and a defense and a kicker. That's his last 4 picks. So, he's got 5 picks.
He's finessing the running back position. That's what he's doing.
Yes, he's definitely has 2 picked out, and he's probably going to get them because they're probably way down on the list. But
yeah, interesting. All right.
If it gets past him going on the way up, the guys at the other end get so many running backs they probably won't take him. So he's going to you'll take one. I'm kind of
there. You go.
One, but
Steve just took one right there. All right, Tony Pollard. What are your thoughts there, Steve?
Yeah, I mean Pollard. Think about. He was with the Cowboys, looked very explosive. Then that last year with Dallas, he broke his fibula the year before. He didn't look the same. Last year he looked better, and his quarterback play was terrible. And I like Cam Ward, so I feel like the offense is going to be much better. Yeah. I could see him getting 10 touchdowns this year, something like that, combined. So I think he's a good pick. People are kind of forgetting about Pollard's talent.
Yep. All right, Team 1 finally takes his second quarterback. So let me see how many teams we got left. Team 3 needs one. Team 5 needs one. Team 9 needs one. So we're down to 3. 3 more quarterbacks left. So we play chicken now. You can wait, I guess, if you want to. Shawn, you were in this position last week where there were only 3 quarterbacks left, and you took the one before being stuck with the last one.
Yeah, I was looking for Lawrence to hook up with his number 1 wide receiver, and he went before. Oh, that's a bad pick. Oh,
come on. That's right. You were in the middle for a while, but you're no longer in the middle, just so you know. There. Get rid of him.
There we go, baby. Packers love. That's for Greg. That's your pick, man.
See, that was for me, Shawn.
I did tell you the night of the draft that I didn't like the pick, so it's not like I changed, So my opinion was down on him before. But
Shawn, why don't you like him?
I'd have to read the write-up. It's been so long ago, but I do have a write-up that I did and researched it. So I kind of thought that they were trying to get another big play like Christian Watson guy, and I don't know. So, but they need wide receivers, and we'll see what happens.
They not only need wide receivers, though, they need speed on that offense. I mean, Dobbs is not a speed guy. Kraft obviously isn't a speed guy. With Watson out, they do need some speed. They need to stretch the field there, and Golden will do that.
The ball. Yeah.
No, Wicks can't catch the ball, and he's not a speed guy either.
More like he's like a route runner.
They have a lot of good route runners, but they need, and with Watson out for at least 10 games or so, Golden is going to at least take the safety off the top there. So I've disagreed with you before, Shawn, so I'll disagree with you on this one.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect out of Golden. I don't know if he's a number 1, but I think he could be a solid number 2. And I think Love. It started with that MCL injury he got in that terrible field in Sao Paulo, and he wasn't healthy ever since. So
nope, he wasn't. He for sure wasn't. Then he had the groin injury against Jacksonville. He just was never 100%. But no, I don't. People are like, Golden's not a number 1. He's not. He probably isn't a number 1. Certainly not as a rookie. He's not going to be a number 1. But he can do things that they need to have done, and that's take the safety with him. Right, take him deep. Clear it out, Tucker Craft underneath, stuff like that. So, all right. Sean's ignoring me. So
No, I don't like anything right here, so I'm gonna
okay, good.
I'm
There's
forced
no-
to pick somebody I don't like. But well, I might as
Florida
well just.
Panthers up 3-0 now.
Oh, are they?
You guys care? Yeah.
I'm gonna ruin the Knicks thing. He's trying to finesse Mims, but at least he's a big play guy, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I just didn't like the wide receivers there, but in the running back, I didn't. If Team 6 didn't take Pacheco, I would have taken him.
Yeah.
I think that was a pretty good value for him and fit what he was trying to do. And then I would have had the Mahomes and the running back position to kind of cover that a little bit, but yeah, that just
You got no other Chiefs. You got Mahomes, and that was it.
Yeah. Where is that?
Strategy gone right down the toilet. Oh well.
Let's see. What was that guy's name? What's that guy's receiver? Golden. I want to look him up.
Matthew Golden. Yes.
I want to see why I didn't like him though.
I want to see why he didn't like him either.
I think the main argument is he didn't have much production until later in his career in college. Yeah. That seems to be the one point that people bring up mostly.
Well,
to me, I watched him. I feel like he's a good route runner. He's solid. Like he seems like he catches everything.
He does.
Yeah. So I just feel like he's one of those solid staple guys you could throw out there. And Love does like to spread it around. So I don't know how much production he's going to get.
Right. I would like him in a best ball for sure, but I agree with you. He's got really good hands. Yeah. I mean, if you watch those big games at the end of the year, national championship game, man, that dude caught really important balls and tough catches, contested catches. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Team 11. Good job. You got your third wide receiver there. Pound him. Team 10 still with only 2 wide receivers. So interesting builds on the back end here. Even Team 12 only has 3 wide receivers right now.
Interesting.
You don't have anybody with 2 tight ends, which we do. Team 3 is doubled up on the tight ends.
Team 10's receivers are like they're getting up there in age too. Thielen and Cup.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, our first defense is off the board. We got Denver going to Team 5 and Buffalo going to Team 12. All right, we're through 10. We got 4 more rounds. Here's the full board here. Shawn, just so you know, you got 14 picks, All right.
I have 14 in this.
Well, last week you thought that you only had 13 because I didn't put the whole board.
Oh, yeah. So I could have squeezed in one more player. But, yeah, that's
I
think last week the back end of the draft was a little bit, the receiving options were a little bit better. Or actually, if I waited to take the quarterback late, at least I know I'm going to get a quarterback that's going to score 300 something points, most likely. But look at Sam Darnold last year, scored 425. He's going to repeat, right?
In Seattle?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he was
those weapons anymore.
No, he was damn good until the Detroit game and the playoff game. And I mean, once they got pressure on him, obviously, any quarterback that gets a lot of pressure kind of folds. But I mean, the week before the Detroit game against the Packers in Minnesota, he made one big throw after another. And that's when I tipped my hat to him. And then the next week, Detroit showed the plan, put a lot of pressure on him. Team 11 with 2 tight ends, right?
Well,
yeah, I think Darnold definitely figured some things out.
Yeah,
last year, he made. You're right. He made some big time throws, but no more O'Connell, no more Jefferson, Addison, but still, JSN's nice, and Kubiak's offense was looking pretty good before the whole Saints team got hurt. So we'll see.
Yeah,
he had time to get downfield. Those guys, big plays. In between, he was, that short stuff was kind of not the same, but I don't know.
No, he threw a good deep ball. He really did. And he got time. Their offensive line did very well for them last year, Minnesota. We'll see. All right, Team 9 started out with Hurts. Still down to 1 quarterback. There you go. Igbuka.
Yeah, I was thinking about taking him to, in case something happened to Godwin, I would get the production from Igbuka, but
all right, we're seeing
handcuff there.
Seeing a couple of double tight ends here. We got 3 of them at least. Ingram and Kraft is interesting.
I really like where Kraft's going in all these drafts. I just feel like he's at a tremendous value. I mean, man,
I'm with you.
He's underrated.
Yeah, I think he's going to get more targets this year for sure. And that's, again, why I like Golden, because he takes the safety, take the top off of it. So
right.
Shawn, you got 6 wide receivers already.
Do I need another one?
I know you're going to take 7.
How many was it? 3 more picks left? I got to get a kicker and a defense and a
That's
wide
right.
receiver.
I like the receivers he's taken. I think they're all solid. I mean, Mims, we'll see, but Kirk could be really solid in that offense too. Could be pretty solid.
I think I should have taken Pittman over Samuel when I'm looking back, but Samuel's.
I'd rather have Debo. Yeah, I think that was the right pick there.
Yeah, this would be fun offense, but. Yeah, I'm just, a veteran quarterback, wide receiver going to to Houston should be a little bit better. You don't need a hero at this end of the draft. Just maybe a guy that gets 60 to 70 catches and maybe scores a few touchdowns, and we'll see. But yeah,
don't be complimenting Shawn. He doesn't need any compliments.
Keenan Allen, you think he'll end up signing with somebody or what?
He's going to sign somewhere, and then he's going to shoot up these boards for sure. And he's probably only going to sign with a contender, I would think. I think he still wants to play 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know about Cooper. Cooper kind of almost seems like he's a little checked out, but I think Allen for sure.
Yeah, I thought about like when I was taking Mims, I was like, should I take Allen? But I was like, whatever. I know that Mims got better and he's kind of a playmaker, and he, but not a volume guy. They spread it around a lot in Denver, but.
Yep.
I'm going to go off the board for. Should I take a running back?
Yeah, you can if you want. Whatever scores the most points and stays healthy.
I told her there's a running back that doesn't normally get drafted in the 14th round could be the guy that's the difference maker because most people won't have him. He'd be Lopez and Jones. So
right. All right. There you go. Dalton Kincaid. Steve, talk a little bit about that. I mean, there's a guy who, last year fell off, but was solid as rookie season, right?
Yeah, I thought, I really liked him coming out. Had a good rookie year, like you said. Last year, supposedly had like an MCL injury, so that could have affected him. But yeah, I got Allen. Yep. So it kind of helps, a little bit of a stack there now. Yep. So it just made sense. There was some good tight ends. I was thinking about Kraft, but he went. But I was happy if I got Kincaid there.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got hookups with both your quarterbacks there. I like it. Fields, obviously, and Allen Kincaid hookup. So good stuff. There goes J.K. Dobbins, the guy. He's got 4 running backs now. I was saying the guy with Hampton, but of course he just went to Denver, so that's not right.
Yeah. I like Dobbins as a late pick again. It seems like nobody ever wants Dobbins, but the last year he was a great value and he produced all the way to the end of the season.
Absolutely. Well, you got that ankle injury and what was it? First week of the championship round, I believe, week 15. But boy, he was so solid.
Yeah. This pick I really like. I was thinking about Scatabo, who I think, could have a lot of upside. But I like Jordan Mason in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So nice. I take him there. Yeah, I just feel like he's a talented kid. Jones has a little bit of injury history, so I like it. My last flex pick there.
All right, before I let you go here, Steve, talk about Scatabo. He hasn't been picked yet, but you're in the New York side there. What's the feedback in New York media of him with the Giants?
Yeah, it seems like, most people are pretty excited about him. He's, tough-minded kid. You just watch his highlights. He's like all effort. So I think he fits the New York mold for sure. Yeah. I think, if I'm a Jets fan, but if I was a Giants fan, I definitely would be excited about the pick. Yeah. And I think he's underrated as a receiver. If you remember that bowl game, he ran like that go route against Texas, like a receiver. He gave the guy like a little inside jab and then he bounced to the outside and he came down. I was like, then his helmet got ripped off, whatever. So yeah, I'm rooting for the kid. I'm excited. He seems like his feet are on the ground. So I think it's going to be a good pick for the Giants.
He was a fantastic watch in that game. I mean, that kid did everything, threw up on the sideline, came back and everything. Yeah, exactly. That's the type of guy you want for sure.
You wonder if he's like one of those, just, like in college basketball or even college football, like one of those guys just better for the college football game rather than the pros. That's certainly possible.
Yep, certainly possible. Kind of reminds me of Mike Allstott. So we'll see if that's what he does or not. Steve, thanks for joining us. I'm going to bring Joe in for one last round here as well. But thanks for joining us and hope you have a lot of success in all your leagues this year.
Yeah, appreciate that, Greg. And I'll be streaming a lot of your drafts all the way till week 1.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Talk to you later. All right. All right, let's bring Joe. All right, push Shawn back in the middle, I guess, here. Joe, how's things going for you on this draft right now, you think? teammate?
Steve is on my mini shit list now because I wanted to pick Jordan Mason,
Yeah.
and now I'm stuck. I'm stuck out for my third running back. Since you guys were talking about Scatterbo, I might pick him. We'll see if he's still there when it's my turn.
All right, Shawn, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this Scatterbo guy. No, I'm not. I'm just...
I was gonna say, damn, I'll go with Brashad Smith then.
I'm going to be honest with you. The guy that I was talking about that's going to slide, and I could take a receiver here. I think I'm still going to do it. But is Trey Benson. He could pop if Connor. You've been waiting for a couple of years of Connor getting hurt, and if he got the job, he could be pretty impactful.
Yeah.
I had him last year, did nothing, and chased him all around. So, but in this format, he won't get drafted. But I think I got a decent team. I might as well stick to the wide receivers, and that's between Quentin Johnson and Bateman. I really like what Bateman did last year.
Yeah.
I thought he could even add a few more catches that close the line of scrimmage, but I went with Johnson because he just got better and seemed like he might improve a little bit this year. Scored touchdowns, had some big games.
Yeah.
A little better format in this one where you don't have to time them.
There goes that Cam Scatterbo. So are you feeling the same way about him? I mean, good college player. Do you think it can translate to the pros?
So I actually really like Tyrone Tracy, but I mean, him lasting the whole season is a concern. Yeah. So Scatterbo is actually gonna probably get on the field some and take the pass down work, and he could carve out the goal line too. So
I like him better than Golden.
I was also looking at Rashad White, and I like Charbonnet better than all three of them, but I looked up and I saw that Gibbs and Etienne have the same bye week, so and Charbonnet has the same, so I couldn't have three running backs with the same bye week.
Exactly what I was saying.
That's what you said. I know it. All right, Shawn, you and Team 6 are the only two with two running backs, and you obviously can't take any more. He can't take any more. So we do have some with three running backs. Obviously, we've got 5 for Team 10, but your thoughts on just the two running backs and why you decided to do that?
I didn't expect to go, obviously I took a running back that goes in the top 5 or 6 picks there. So I think that I got a foundation running back. Hopefully he's an edge. He stays healthy. And Taylor's a really good player that has a potential. I wish he had rooting for Richardson not to be the quarterback because he maybe can catch a few more passes and maybe not steal as many rushing touchdowns. But I just think he's a really, really good running back. And he has a potential if he can stay healthy to be a guy that could make a run at 300 fantasy points. So I went with that. And, because I did better than expected, I just tried to, bang out the wide receivers, and then see what happens. So,
Well, you think Daniel Jones is certainly going to be the quarterback early on, it looks like, in Indianapolis.
Yeah, he's completion rate's higher and he's kind of a dink and dunk guy, but
for sure.
But they got good receivers and stuff like that. There's 3 receivers that are pretty productive, and they drafted that other guy for I think last year in the second or first round. That's pretty talented. So and they upgraded the tight end position. So you would think that they would pass the ball pretty good. So we'll see what happens. Can Daniel Jones get out of New York and have a Barkley type season?
Possible.
Yeah.
So Tyler Warren, he hasn't been picked here. Oh yeah, he was. He picked by Team 11. Okay. Again, double tight ends over there, Kelsey and Warren. Yeah, I could see Daniel Jones. I mean, like you say, he's a dump off, a screen guy. I mean, I could see Taylor getting more receptions with Daniel Jones, obviously, than Richardson, and certainly more goal line touchdowns without Richardson there for sure. So
yeah, I mean, I guess it just comes down to the players. Like if McConkey was there, I would have taken him on that pick. That's what I was looking at, and I was like, well, I'll go to I like AJ Brown, but I just don't like that's a running thing, and so I just went the other way. So,
all right, again, this is the Gladiator Championship, $50 entry fee, 12 teams, 14 rounds, all 14 players score points for 17 weeks. Whoever has the most points wins, $7,500. Within the league, $200. We'll do these again. We got 2-hour and 4-hour drafts right now that seem to be filling pretty regularly. We'll get these nightly ones going. Shawn, next week I'm thinking about doing it. You available next Tuesday?
Yeah, I'm around. Yeah.
I'm thinking of a cut line. Since you don't like that format, we're going to do the cut line and talk about that one. How's that sound? That's 10 teams.
If you do that one, if you do the cut line, can the computer pick the playoff weeks lineups?
We're going to talk about that next week. The answer is no, but we're going to talk about that next week. You
I
have
don't
to
wanna-
earn your money. You have to earn your money.
I don't want to have to make decisions in those. I want
That's
to.
called a best ball. That's called a best ball.
Well, you put the cut line advance of best ball, not seeing the vision that the best ball was the better opportunity. So you were actually playing like with dial-up internet with your game right now. You got to progress.
I didn't see that the $5 best ball was going to get hundreds of thousands of people playing either. So that was one that I didn't see coming.
But you could still offer it. Maybe you could offer the $2 one. The $2. Are the Packers defense any good?
Yeah, I think so.
Better than the Chiefs?
Probably not.
I don't know. I see Tom always ranting and raving about how terrible they are on Twitter.
Yeah.
They have a lengthy draft last year and this year. They get a lot of players, you know.
Hell yeah. They got like 7 or 8 first-round picks on there, and they don't play very well.
All right. I took one for you.
Just wait. I'm still going to get you off the air anyways here. There, just for that. It's just fun to do that to you. So there you go.
Sure.
Okay,
So, Shawn, I like the Genty Taylor combo. I did me and Steve live streamed an online championship not too long ago, and that's how I started my draft.
Nice.
So,
and that was an online championship. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good combination. And then you probably did better at wide receiver, you know, in that format too, right? Especially this.
Yeah, then I followed it up with 4 wide receivers right immediately after. You can't you have to you know in that 3 wide receivers, you can't mess around too long with the wide receiver, especially if you go 2 running backs early.
Do you go 2 running backs early much in the online championship, Joe, or not?
I have in the last couple of years, I thought it's been in play because the top tier of running backs are. Because everybody uses 2 running backs now. So if you can get if you have the opportunity to get 2 top tier running backs, I think you should probably take it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only exception would be is if a wide receiver is still on the board that you shouldn't pass on, but it's usually not the case if the running back is fallen. So.
And the wide receivers are deep enough that you still have time to get some top guys, right?
Yeah. As long as you hammer them immediately afterwards. Yeah.
Right. Can't mess around there. You can't throw in a tight end there or such like that.
Right. Well, tight end's not the elite tight end group is not deep enough to be messing around. And same goes for the quarterback. So
yeah. All right, here's round 14. Like I said, this one took an hour and about 10 minutes. Pretty easy to bang out. Now their jobs are done, right? They just sit back and cheer for all 14 of their guys throughout the season. Doesn't get any better than that. So appreciate everybody participating tonight. Appreciate everyone joining us on the live stream. Appreciate you guys for being my guests on here as well. It's great to talk to Joe, Steve, Harry, Shawn as well. So I think we're going to do this next Tuesday. Seems like a good night for me and Shawn to be able to do it. And maybe we'll do a cut line next week and have some fun. Look at that format as well. I want to do a live stream every week. So
that one's 26 rounds, right?
26 rounds, 10 teams. It's best ball scoring for the first 10 weeks. Finish in the top half of your league, and you advance to either the wild card tier or the championship round. $50,000 grand prize. Entry fee this year is $150. So it's a lot of fun. It's a good format. Shawn wants the computer to pick your lineups during the championship round weeks, the money rounds, and I say
I can totally understand that. You build yourself a best ball monster, and then you get to week 11 or week 10, and you're like, "What the? Who am I benching?"
That's right.
Yeah, it's tough. That man, it makes it tough.
But with that much money on the line, you got to make those tough decisions. So that's why we do it. But I see where
I like the format. I usually do 1 or 2 of those.
Yeah.
I prefer to draft it. And when you drafted a team in like that type of format, that you potentially could win the league and you already won it and you don't know it's just got to play out. Now you're forcing me to screw up. I got to screw up my team. I got to make a decision that knocks me out of the playoffs.
That's right. Make the right decision.
All right, I'm going off the board with the kicker. But
all right. Raiders kicker, Falcons.
So yeah, no, I don't know. It's just different. I mean, I really like the the best ball thing, I think, or the cut line for the baseball, and
Yeah.
there's no decisions really there, and but
Yep, that is best ball, no doubt. All right, we'll save it. We're going to talk about it next week. All right. So
why don't you
Joe?
just offer both and see what happens, and which one gets more entries, and then it'll dictate the how much
Yeah.
they believe.
It'll dictate. Well, I lose money on both of them. I offer 50,000 on both of them. I don't fill both of them. I lose money.
You got to take one for the team once in a while. You got to satisfy the public.
I have. It was good talking to you tonight. I'll talk to you next Tuesday. Joe, thank you for joining. Harry, thank you for joining me. Steve, thank you for joining me. We'll see you next Tuesday. All right. And good luck in all your leagues. Thanks, everybody. See you later.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us on the High Stakes Fantasy Network podcast. To get in the game, go to playnfc.com.